Good morning, everybody. This is Scott Dillon from the Global Center of Excellence for SAP Cloud Platform, and I want to run through with everybody the scenario that I'm planning to build for the Garage Series in 2020, and hopefully garner some feedback from some of the folks that have been joining in to see if you think it's a good idea. I'm hoping so because I've already started work on it, and your feedback would be much appreciated. So what I want to do in 2020 is build out a real application end-to-end using what I think are some of the core components of SAP Cloud Platform, the ones that provide a tremendous amount of value, the ones that distinguish us from some of the other providers in the market. So the scenario that I've picked is it's a pretty well-known scenario, which is an incident management. Some people call it near miss. It's very popular in utilities, oil and gas companies, but in general, it's an application that you could use to report an incident. But along with that, there's integration, there's mobile devices, there's workflows, there's a lot of things that come into play, which is why I'm going to show you what I'm planning here. So in the last Garage Series for this year, we started with using CAP, which is the SAP Cloud Platform Application Programming Model, and Node.js, storing data in HANA to create 3 or 4 basic table structures with some services on top that are exposed to those data. So that was the starting point for this scenario for next year. And then on top of that, our first session in 2020 will be working with David Kuntz. He's going to come on the phone with us. He's one of the lead architects in the CAP team, and he's going to show us how to connect CAP to the enterprise messaging service with the framework that he wrote to make it really easy to publish data to the enterprise messaging service, which is in itself really, really cool. So that'll be an interesting session showing how to event enable structures that you build inside a CAP. And then once we have that in place, one of the things that for sure is a requirement if you're going to build out a real application is to have some way for people to do operational reporting. And of course, one of the areas that I think people often overlook is this notion of floor plans or Fiori elements, which are basically reusable software components built by SAP that you configure to show the data that you want. So the goal is in February, we will build out 2 Fiori elements, a list report and an overview page to show people how we can visualize the data for all the incidents quite quickly. And we're hoping to do 2 of them in the course of the 1 hour. So that'll be interesting. And then, of course, in order to create events, we need some way to get to it. I'm hoping to have a UI5 application created prior to the event to show people what that could look like. But then we want to focus in on the MDK, which is a framework that we've showed before, but now we want to build out the incident creation application online, maybe even offline, and show people how to build a native application using the MDK all from within a browser. And the idea there would be we're going to show people, and then we're going to have a contest that would let you submit your own version of that. We'll publish the APIs. You can hook into those, create incidents and things like that. And we're going to have some prizes, hopefully, to give away for that. Make it a little bit interesting. And then what we want to do then is show, so once we have people then using mobile phones, being able to submit events and create incidents, we need to have some way to get them off the message bus. And so this we have a service called FAS, Function as a Service, that's just about to go GA, in fact. We want to use that. Again, it's Node.js, but it's JavaScript code essentially that can be used to subscribe, get the information off of the message bus in an asynchronous fashion, and then do something with it. So the first thing we want to do is be able to take that function as a service and hook it up to a workflow. So we will be creating a workflow, a new workflow, for the approval or rejection of these incidents, and we're going to use FAS to trigger that workflow. So then we'll have Peter McNulty come back and do another session with us on how to set up workflow and potentially a few business rules inside Cloud Foundry that we can then activate. And then I don't know if we'll have time in the same session. It'll be that session or a separate session where we're then going to come back and put process visibility on top of those workflows to get some insight into how many workflows are started, what status they're in, things like that. And then last year, or this year, sorry, we're not in 2020 yet, but this year we also had a really good UI5 session with Michael Graff. He's a well-known personality inside the SCP world for UI5. Super nice guy, very intelligent and smart about all things UI5. So he's going to come back, and we're going to build, if all goes well, a UI5 incident dashboard that will hook up through WebSockets. So the goal would be to have a real-time feed from the enterprise messaging bus into a UI5 incident dashboard, so we can just kind of see at a glance where the incidents are being created and how often. And last but not least, we've got a few other components. We have this SCP work zone. So there was some talk about it at TechEd, the digital workplace, but I think the new name is the work zone. So how can these dashboards and Fiori elements and a portal page be all brought together in one place for employees or external people to see? So we'll do a session on work zone. And then the last piece that I just added to the screen, if time permits, and I'm not sure it will because we've already got quite a bit of content there, but if time permits, I wouldn't mind seeing how we can tie SCP Analytics Cloud into this CAP store, into this HANA piece, maybe do some predictive using ZAC. And then I've got two other pieces here, CPI and IoT. So IoT, if you notice, there's a second function as a service here that I'm thinking would bypass the workflow. So if we have some rules on an edge device, the edge device could determine, yeah, we've got to definitely have an incident here, so it wouldn't need to be approved. So maybe we could pull that one off with a different function and have it go directly into ECC or S4. And then last but not least, again, if we have time, we'll see. But on the ML AI side, maybe we could put some image recognition on top of one of the mobile apps. So if we take a picture of a frayed wire, it would come back and tell us, well, it's a frayed wire. Maybe we could use the algorithm that we have for service ticket classification to correctly categorize the incident. So anyway, this is the scenario. End-to-end incident management, operational reporting, enterprise messaging, function as a service, some workflows, some API management, some mobile technologies all in the mix for 2020. If you think there's something missing, tell me. If you like the scenario, tell me. If you're excited about learning how to do all of that over the course of 10 sessions, also let me know. And yeah, so that's it. Everybody have a great holiday season. Get some rest. I'll be thinking about the Garage series. Talk to you soon.